There is another expression used around neighbors that goes like this: ogni scarafone è bella mamma sua, which can be translated as every cockroach is beautiful to its own mother, which is very similar in meaning to the a face only a mother could love idiom. With that in mind, I would like to make a derivative. Every retro game is a masterpiece to its own fandom, no matter the actual quality. And yet there are titles that just don't have any kind of following, even the ironic one. Titles no one seems to remember or crave their comeback. Titles such as Darkstar One. Let's try to find out why. The game starts with a cutscene of two pirates who, by sheer bad luck, get attacked by squads of drones, and their cargo, conveniently enough, crashes on one of the stations that kept a space gate open, shutting it off. This shall make sense later. Our perspective changes and now we are in the Panic system under Terran control, as we get a glimpse on the protagonist of this game, the Darkstar One, and also the dude that drives it, Chiron Jarvis. He visits his boss, Robert, and gets revealed that the ship in the hangar, the first of its kind, is a gift from Simon, Chiron's father, who has recently and suddenly passed away. Robert describes how the Darkstar is the peak of a pilot's desire, capable of integrating every single system from every known race, and how it is fully upgradable.
Darkstar has an intelligent upgrade system which can integrate equipment from any technological base into the ship's systems. Besides that, you're literally able to expand your ship when you have enough experience. Weapon mounts, improved hull, stronger engines, everything can be upgraded, yeah? However you like.
By not sucking it off, it's time to drive it. After the obligatory tutorial mandated by Robert and led by Arim. Okay, let's take this opportunity to talk about some gameplay. Space sims are known to be complex games with hundreds of key bindings. Darkstar has around 35 of such. It is the easiest and most approachable space sim I've ever played, but don't let it fool you, for the game itself is still mechanically rich. In fact, one that is kinda interesting but underdeveloped is the hexagonal fame system. Cool is that the roles are not mutually exclusive. You can be a good pilot by developing the reputation on the right side of the hexagon by being a merchant, a mercenary, or a bounty hunter, and be a bad pilot by developing the ones on the left side by being a smuggler, a killer, or a pirate. You can also be all of those things at the same time all at once. The thing is, it's never convenient to be the bad guy, obviously, but mostly because in almost every system there is a space station with police around. As such, any attempt of being a pirate or a killer will be immediately countered. Plus, look here, the benefits of being a pirate is not worth it, and the killer one seems to be bugged, since the police never seem to change their behavior, while the trait for being a smuggler will just make it harder to do your job and nothing else. But you will gain a pretty penny by doing it until reaching a tipping point, and smuggling doesn't always have to be about something bad like drugs. Sometimes it's for a higher cause, like, well...
Attention, the purchase, sale and possession of video games is illegal on this station.
Literally 1984. But hey, if you want to just sell regular stuff, keep an eye on the goods. There is an actual dynamic economy. The prices can change without user input. Expanding on it, every system has 5 main goods that it produces and therefore has an abundance of, and 2 banned resources, which, if attempted to bring on the station, will put the player in trouble, but, as mentioned before, can generate a lot of money as smuggled goods. The exceptions are the anarchic planets, who don't have any kind of legal good. Going back to the story, neat is the universe reason on why the ship levels up.
As you know, your father has developed the Darkstar One using ancient artifacts. You are already aware that this is no ordinary ship. It has a unique feature. It is able to transform. I don't mean simply extending it by implementing equipment. No, I mean it will change. It will grow. It will grow stronger and it will become more agile. You will need these organic artifacts in order to transform your ship.
Artifacts from whom? How did they get in the asteroid? How exactly does the ship absorb them and use them? Why were they built in the first place? What are these artifacts made of? They're organic? What? All of these questions are never answered, unfortunately. The workers just don't care if you enter inside the asteroid and take the artifact. Only that though. Take the minerals and they are going to blast you. Once they get enough artifacts, the ship levels up and can be upgraded in 3 sections: hull, wings, and engines. Better hull equals more automatic turrets, better wings means more manual weapons, and better engines make the ship go faster and less sluggish to maneuver while having cargo. Plus, no matter what you upgrade, you should always receive some passive benefits like more health. Now that the basics have been covered, it's time to get back to Robert. He has something important to tell. Once Chiron is on the station, the big news is revealed. His father's ship was sabotaged. Chiron wants to avenge him. The main suspect is Jack Forrester, who has suspiciously escaped right after Simon's death. It is suspected that he is working with the Tool race. Chiron must now reach another station and get information from Lazar. But first, it would be wise to gather better equipment, and for that, there is no better way than reading the news on the terminal. Why? Well, if you do that, you shall receive a clue on where a pirate gang is located. If you go there and defeat all of them, you shall receive the best weapon/turret available in the system. You could just buy the less powerful version and don't deal with the hassle, sure, but by hunting down those gangs you save a lot of money. Plus, these weapons require less energy to use, meaning that they can shoot for longer. Anyway, once at the station to Lazar, Chiron finds Jack. Squat. It seems like the chase is over before it even started. But then, here she comes. Eona. You know what they say. When a girl enters butt first into your life, you know she means trouble. She offers Chiron a deal. Give her a passage and she'll help him in his mission. She is hiding her real motives, but has acquaintances who can help. As such, she gets on the ship. And she seems hard for it.
Leave it. My cabin is bigger than my first ship. And it smells better. A lot better. The ship is brand new, isn't it? What's your ship computer? The HAL 3000?
5,000.
5,000? I thought they weren't out yet.
In any case, the duo must go to Alpha Centauri to meet one of her contacts, Delano, on the Sol system, aka Hurt. Chiron tries to get to know Eona better, but as they are discussing, they get attacked. Both are baffled by it. Who were they? The target was on board? Eona, would you like to say something?
Oh, well, it's over. Let's set a course for Earth again.
No? Okay. Around the orbit of Earth, Chiron tries to make Eona explain why there are murderous hunters trying to kill them, but she deflects the questions again. Once contacted, Delano reveals where Jack is. He is hiding in the Mortok territories. Delano also promises some useful equipment, but first a gang of pirates must be eliminated. Once they're dead, it is revealed that Jack is going to a Mortok research station in the Mandalor's system. Reached the station, the Darkstar One is refused entry, but a sudden attack from the Tool drones and the following saving grants them permission to land. No need to thank us, just doing our job as heroes. Ouch. Jack passed here right before the Tool drones showed up. Apparently he seems to be working for a scientist named Zarkov. The crew must go and look for him. The scientist gives them the keys and sends them on their way.
Good luck.
You too.
There seems to be tensions between the Raptors and the Terrans, but Chiron is sure he'll find a way to cope with the situation.
Thanks. We will see. Hopefully we'll be able to cope one way or another.
Eona knows a Raptor who owns her a favor. The crew decides to go to him and ask for help. Once reached the station of the contact, they got ambushed by some thugs. That was a real weak sound effect. Here, let me give you some replacements, game. Chiron gets downed, and Eona kidnapped. Her captors want Chiron to do a job. He must oblige to save her. As such, he flies to the rural system to take part in a pirate operation, led by the Mortok Cabro. Once done, it's time to dock on a faraway station on the Cabra Koi system. There, Chiron goes to the pirate leader Ramirez to... talk about Eona. He is not letting her go. She owes him a lot of money. As such, Chiron is forced to do more jobs. First of which is to reach a cargo and get a shady container. Now that I think about it, of all the casino sounding names you could give to an alien, why Ramirez? Like, the others in the manual have alien sounding names enough, except for Nikolai. Anyway, once the jobs are done, it's time to get Eona back. Not so easy, unfortunately. Cabro's taken Eona and wants Chiron to do dirty, dishonorable jobs. Ramirez does not like this, for he considers himself a man of honor. As such, he decides to aid Chiron in rescuing Eona. A minor nitpick I have is about the destruction of the bigger ships. It's really dull looking. I wish they made it so pieces of them would spread everywhere. Into the system, Ramirez is behind the station and has a plan. Cabro has a fortress on the surface of the planet that must be assaulted. Chiron must destroy the energy shields and distract the forces on the planet while Ramirez rescues Eona. This is one of the few cases of flying on planets, It's kinda refreshing since the flight controls get altered and give some new sights. I wish there were more instances of something like this. Once the generators are destroyed, Iona gets saved, and Chiron hunts down Cabro to finish him for good. Your honor has spread everywhere. As they're getting back on the station, Ramirez shares his life story.
That was a battle after my own heart. Just like the good old times. You fought well, and it was an honor to fight with you. Follow me. We will head back to the station. Someone is becoming impatient there. I used to be a mercenary in the war against the Raptor, but that was a long time ago. Back then, it was easy to determine who is your friend and who is your foe. Today, that is not as easy anymore. I even made friends among the Raptor. They are not all bad once you get to know them.
I get it they wanted to make him more sympathetic, but I do believe it could have been done better, or at the very least share it in chunks during the quest instead of all at once. Once Iona is back, she reveals her reasons for why the pirates had kidnapped her. The two Mortocks wanted her to smuggle rare animals, these fluffy looking cats, as their furs are highly valuable, but their skinning is illegal in the whole galaxy.
I flew to a forest planet and set them free.
Iona, the friend of animals. Wait, does this mean she dropped in a random forest planet in an ambient unknown to them? Don't overthink it, they are animals, they know to survive. Fair enough. In any case, time to talk with Ramirez and get some info. He shares everything he knows. He reveals where to find Dr. Zarkov. Chiron must go to the Crossroads system and contact Mitri. Ramirez also offers him another job, this time without any kind of blackmailing. This is a good opportunity to talk about the secondary quests. They are not interesting. The only tidbit of narrative you receive is at the start when you get the mission. That's it. Then you just go and do it. They are only decent for getting more money compared to the assignments you can get on the terminals. In any case, Fish People Sector, here we come. Reach the station and talk with Contact Mitri, who reveals that the fish people are distrustful of those traveling from Mortok space. The Contact will do the possible to allow Chiron access, but first he wants him to do a favor: transport illegal goods. Given the goods to the receiver, he tells Chiron to warn Mitri, for he is in danger and must keep eyes open. It's time to meet the representative to get information for Mitri.
User Variag to Terran, please extend our gratitude to Mitri. The ceremonies were, shall we say, spiritually rich.
He reveals that there are bounty hunters going after Mitri. Chiron must go to the station and intercept them before they kill him, otherwise the duo risk of being stuck. Once saved, he grants Chiron the permission to land on the station. Reach the station, Chiron witnesses what looks like Forrester kidnapping Dr. Zarkov. Even more suspicious is the fact that Zarkov was studying the attacks from the tool drones. Chiron gets the coordinates to...
He does not need you anymore.
Okay. To 4 systems. You must be cautious. There have been attacks from the tool drones. Another frustratingly underdeveloped aspect are the pirate hideouts. Asteroids repurposed by pirates as bases of operations. Finding them is not a problem. It's rather the lack of reward for doing so. You gain nothing. No extra credits or cool new gadget. Which is a shame because the destruction animation is neat. Oh well. Suddenly, Chiron and Iona discuss Jack.
Be checking out all the research stations. Aren't you worried we'll lose track of Jack?
Jack won't get away. I have to know what he's doing with the Thule, and why he kidnapped Zarkov.
What do you really know about Jack? How do you know if he's actually working with the Thule?
I know he murdered my father. That's enough.
And if you're wrong? If he has nothing to do with the Thule? You're so damn sure of yourself.
I am not wrong! And even if I am, what do you care? It's my hunt, not yours.
I know. And I will help you.
We'll find him.
This came out of the blue, and Iona seems weirdly defensive towards Jack. This will make sense later.
Welcome to the Secretarian system. I'll be glad once we've left this place again. Every time I speak to these raptors, I seem to insult one of their many gods inadvertently.
Well, in that case, leave the talking to me. Come on, we have a date in the research station.
A few moments later.
Good morning. Darkstar One requesting permission to land.
And what exactly is supposed to be good about this morning? Labad the Exalted was brutally murdered 4,278 years ago today.
Kieran can't get in, but can do a job to gain the permission. It consists in finding some parts, then he can enter. Side note, no, you can't cheese by jumping the line. You have to do the quest legitimately. First and foremost, find the guy that sells them, the Mortok Mando. But he seems to be in trouble. He has CD in a station. Kieran must do a job for him, then he gets what he needs. I'm sensing a pattern here. Once the threat is neutralized... Oh, yeah, usually the K key is used to communicate with friendly/neutral ships, but during fights it can be used to taunt enemies. They are quite lame.
This is the last greeting from Darkstar One. I've got you targeted. Time to square things out. Start praying. I'll set you on fire. I have you targeted.
They're not impactful. There should be something more, like...
What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in analysis.
Anyway, once the threat is neutralized, Kieran gets a key from Mando, and finally gathers the thing he needed, a shielding module. Time to head back to the station to get some data. Time to move to the second station, where the local researcher, Nikolai, needs help, and once saved, actually grants passage into the new research station without needing any favors. Thanks. And gives the key for the station straight away, and sets up a new plot thread.
The killers earlier mentioned a Bronus.
Oh, him. He's a weapons maker who'll sell his mother for the right price. I just took one of his freighters out of circulation.
Because I work with the Mortoks, the Raptors don't want to share any intel. As such, a job must be done to get their trust. This is like the third time. I miss Nikolai already. It consists in contacting the cruiser Bogatyr and do their assignment. A particularly corrupt Raptor is supplying weapons to both warring parties between Mortoks and the Raptors, and no one has done anything about it because he has friends in high places. As such, to stop him, Kieran must do an official visit, going on to his planet fortress and destroy the weapons factory. This is the second on-planet section of the game, and it's good. It's basically a giant labyrinth. Slightly slow at times when to progress all the turrets need to be destroyed, but still, a nice departure from the norm. Once the destruction is done, Kieran gets the data and moves on to the next station in Octo territory, the Snail People with 6 arms. Now, I don't think I explained the fights in depth, but I believe that showing to all of you a raw combat section can be more explanatory than anything else, so here it is.
Do you think you can drive us away from here?
Is still behind us.
Our shields are failing.
There's another one of those drones.
Back on the story, Kieran actually meets with Nikolai there. He suggests getting a gift for easy approach with the Octo. Get pictures of 3 anomalies. He also shares the keys in where to find them. Nikolai, the truest mother fisher in the galaxy. Once given them the photos, Kieran is allowed inside. Talking with the snail people about the attacks, it is revealed that the drones have been assaulting an asteroid with rare crystals, and the scientists have information about Jack. But just as they are about to share it, the station gets attacked. It must be defended. And now here is one of the 3 turret sections of the game, and well, not much to say really. It's a turret section. Shoot at them before they deplete your health. Bog standard. Once the attack is over, Kieran gets information on a new contact, Hornblower, and must reach him. Reach the Hornblower is in danger, because of course he is, and must be saved. Is literally no one in this galaxy hiring bodyguards? After the rescue, he is willing to help, but first, Kieran must get better equipment for the ship. You might be wondering, why is everyone always in danger? Well, the devs thought of it.
Why is everyone we meet in difficulties?
Because they're all stupid.
Once ready, and got some lore dumps about the Arax, and aided the Hornblower in taking care of a minor issue, which made him open up and reveal more about himself.
A lot has changed over the past few years. I used to have a drink with the smugglers. Now they just disappear when the trade is completed. Nobody trusts anyone anymore.
What a word. Where we will end up if even the lowest scum does not cover it within itself. As they are about to head out, the jumping short circuits. The smugglers betrayed us. Our trust was misplaced. This is why nobody trusts anyone else, Hornblower. So, now the crew must defend themselves.
See you later, alligator!
Nice hip, Arachnid. It's finally time to get on the asteroid. And right before entering an attack from tool drones, and the asteroid must be defended. This is like the 4th time something like this happened. No one has thought about increasing security? Inside, Jiju, the Arax scientist, believes that the tool must have a base nearby, and the 3 must track it down.
What are we waiting for? Good thing we have someone now to keep those annoying pirates off our backs.
You brought that on yourself.
So, when interacting with the opposite sex, Kieran is the kind of guy that would rather watch instead of participate. Completely useless information game. I shall treasure it with care. By the way, the correct thing in the lower left is for how dangerous a spaceship is. Not really important, but it bugged me for the whole trip. In any case, Kieran and Hornblower must check various satellites to find its location. More lore dumps.
Latest news? Octo and Arak are having yet another argument over some borderline. Seems they have nothing better to do. This is the same thing that happened in System 028 all over again.
System 028?
Yeah, they couldn't come to an agreement there. The Octo sent hunters, the Arak sent pirates. It was all fairly harmless, but then the situation escalated when one of the pirate leaders was killed. Unfortunately, he was the son of House Samudra's king. Since then, they've been slaughtering each other. I think it has something to do with a blood feud. Damn fools. The whole galaxy is sitting on a powder keg, and they have nothing better to do than kill each other.
I get they wanted to flesh out the universe, but it should have been done in a way that does not feel so dense. Like, instead of just dumping information all at once, it should have been spread during normal gameplay. There are many situations where nothing just gets shared and could be used as opportunity for lore building. Anyway, the first satellite gets repaired. There was a virus in the software. Time to move to the next satellite in the Sync-Way system. Oh shoot, the next one is under attack.
Do something, Kieran.
I can't, it's a cutscene. But Hornblower has spares, convenient enough, and deploys one immediately. Checking the last satellite, there are Octo forces present, and they don't want to cooperate. As tool drones arrive and kill almost everyone, the last surviving one decides to cooperate. Once analyzed the last dataset, it's time to go back to Jiju. Now, Kieran must escort a cruiser with crystals. Okay, he's basically everyone's errand boy by now. The cruiser captain is unwilling to cooperate. Strange, this is a first. It actually gets forced to accept by Jiju. Even stranger, they want to stop in the middle of nowhere important. Even Eona is suspicious. And they do even more shitty stuff as they want the Darkstar to go back instead of escorting them. Suddenly, a tool cruiser. It destroys the Dark One, but does not harm the ship. So many questions arise. Eona scans the remains, but it's pointless. There are no survivors. Now, the duo must get back and tell Jiju what happened. Apparently, not all is lost. The satellites managed to get the signature. Now, the Darkstar can chase the tool cruiser on an abandoned system with Hornblower. Kieran also reports on the shady actions the cruiser initiated. A cutscene at the Galactic Council shows Robert convincing the other races that enough is enough. It's time to respond to the tool in full force. Back on the action, while analyzing the battlefield, Hornblower finds something, and gets blown up because of it. The only option is to run away and warn Jiju. Hornblower must be avenged, but the Galactic Council has decided to mobilize against the tool. As such, the trio will have to do it alone. To fight though, the clock of the tool cruiser must be deactivated. Luckily, there is a special scanner just for that, but the prototype has been stolen by the Octo. Kieran shall get it back. He must find Tan Nale, an Octo informant. He can help in getting the scanner back. He actually reveals that the pirates stole it, but the Octo government is actually behind it. Once received the system keys, it's time to hunt down those pirates. Found the location. The Octo military wants it, but instead of paying, they decide to kill the pirates. As such, the best strategy is to just take the prototype and bail. By the way, it's not only Eona that seems for the ship, others do it too.
Look there! What kind of ship is that? That looks awesome! I've never seen anything like it! That must be really expensive!
Time to hunt down the tool cruiser. There are border disputes between the Octo and the Arrak. As such, the Darkstar One is alone. Against a cloaked cruiser. Great. But Jiju actually has reinforcement. With their help, the cruiser gets destroyed. Huzzah. Then, the unexpected. Kieran received a message from Robert, and must contact him as soon as possible. He wants Kieran to get back, claiming that it's too dangerous. Kieran, obviously, rejects. He has gone too far to just give up. He must find out the truth. Still, Robert gives him the key for a smuggler station. And then the twist. Robert is working with someone? The crew must go to Hive CU7. It's the central trade system for illegal goods. Something else that I noticed, despite their flavor text, there is no reason not to upgrade the weapons. The ones in next sector are always better than the ones you gathered. As such, buy/get them from pirates as soon as possible is the perfect and dull strategy. The system itself is desolated, no one is around. But of course it's a trap, and drones arrive. Suddenly, Jack arrives and he's attacking the drones. He is helping. Why? This completely nullifies the theory that he was alive with the tool. He also doesn't seem to be hostile towards Kieran in any way. What's going on? After the battle, Kieran, obviously, wants to talk with him. But here is not a good place. They must go to the Cygen system, where it's safe. Dr. Zarkov is there too. Wait, hold on. This asteroid is annoying me. Anyway, once near the station, and make sure that Jack is there too, it's time to go in and receive some answers. But before that, an attack from tool drones arrives, and the crew must defend the station. This is like the 5th time. Put some bloody defenses there! After the attack, the reveals. Turns out, Forrester did not sabotage Simon's defense systems, and the reason for why he ran away is because his investigation unveiled an uncomfortable truth. Only 3 people were allowed to modify the ship's systems. Simon, Forrester, and Robert. Turns out, Forrester was framed. Another twist. Eona and Forrester are engaged. So that's why she wanted to travel with Kieran and debated on him whether Forrester was innocent or not. In any case, the two attack again, and the station must be defended. Again. After the attack, here is Dr. Zarkov.
What do they want, besides killing us?
Exterminate us!
An answer, not a synonym. The tool seems to be developing a technology that can release a high amounts of energy. Kieran gives the data collected until now to the Doctor, so that he can analyze it and figure out what is happening. In the meantime, Kieran shall do a job. Oh, by the way, your fish got eaten, bro. To my surprise, Kieran is surprisingly chill about the whole situation between Eona and Forrester.
Are you annoyed with me?
Why should I?
Well, because I've been lying to you, and I didn't tell you that I know Jack.
Jack told me why he had to abandon you in the Barnard cluster. And I can understand why you were looking for an opportunity to follow him.
You're a darling.
Back on track. Chiron must get some crystals and isotopes so that Zarkov can make more in-depth analysis on the data. Okay? The isotopes must be gathered by an octo scientist working on such material. Oh, something I haven't talked about are the intergalactic news. Every time a big event happens, a cutscene plays reporting the events that just transpire from the galaxy's point of view. It is possible to read the news of it on a terminal. It helps to contextualize. Side note, there is a mysterious system that I was not able to reach even with the endgame gear. I wonder what is there. Also, near the end there are too many systems to check. It gets really annoying if you are hunting down pirate gangs. And of course, while gathering crystals, everything goes smoothly without any accidents. Psych, the drones attack. And just because there haven't been enough hindrances today, the Octo Scientist doesn't have the isotopes anymore. He got mugged by pirates. And of course, Chiron must kill them and recover the container. Then, here it comes a sudden emotional speech.
We live in dark times. The Arak are threatening our borders, and at the same time we suffer severe losses due to the Thule drone attacks. Their passion for science is commendable. However, whatever good are all these discoveries if you do not have the wisdom to use them wisely and to everyone's advantage? The hunger for power is a bad counselor. We need to confront not only the Thule, but everyone who thinks they can become rich by employing violence, such as pirates and corrupt militia.
Now, not going to lie, I get it what they were going for, but it still feels a bit too cramped to make an impact. Like, you can spend a couple of hours where nothing happens, then get a world building dump all at once. It could have been paced better. Anyway, Chiron got the goods and brought them to Zarkov. He analyzed the data and concludes that the tool are creating a high-power generator, but the exact reasons and locations are unknown. As such, Chiron must contact Joe Hall, former geologist and colleague of Zarkov. If you ever felt like the Darkstar wasn't already the ultimate peak of desire, people simping for it shall confirm it.
Look there! What kind of ship is that? That looks awesome! I've never seen anything like it. That must be really expensive.
And of course, once reached the asteroid, the drones attack. Suddenly, tool hunters arrive and they're destroying the drones. Nara, the captain of the tool hunters, wants to genuinely help the crew. And while Chiron asks a legitimate question,
but tell me, are you fighting against your own ship?
He gets a vague answer, but also an invitation to clear everything up after the correct work is done.
Chiron, things are not always what they seem to be. There is much that I have to tell you. I invite you to Glacht Hall. Everything will be cleared up.
Chiron reaches the octogeologist, but he won't help.
Zarkov needs you. The galaxy needs you. Without you, Zarkov can't find the planet.
My old friend Zarkov. He must wait, and the galaxy too. You are both young. You do not know how important family is.
His son, Joe's son, disappeared, and he is desperate to find him. Chiron offers to find his son. Once done, Joe Hall shall go to Dr. Zarkov. Joe's son wanted to diplomatically resolve the border dispute between the Arrax and the Octo, but someone wanted to stop him. As such, he had to hide. Reach the location of Joe's son's last transmission, and down the bounty hunters who were looking for him. Joe's son is free to go, but he wants to end his mission before getting back to his father. As such, Chiron must escort him. Bringing him to the contact reveals another piece of the puzzle. A corrupt general wants to start the war. As such, Joson must now go to the Bindal system and avoid any escalation between the two races. And he manages to get there just in the nick of time. Receiving the transmission that his son is safe and sound, Johal is already on his way to Zarkov, and so is Chiron. And looks like Nahara had passed by, leaving the system keys for Chiron. Time to go to the tool to figure out what is going on. Once in the system, Chiron witnesses the tool fighting against the drones. There are many questions that need answering. Apparently, the tool were actually not behind the attack of the drones at all. Why they didn't say so?
You could have just said so.
We do not need to justify ourselves to others.
Excuse me, what the fuck?
That is an utter bull justification. You blew up Hornblower seemingly for no reason. Don't stop her, Chiron. She knows it. Let her speak. Anyway, as it turns out, An extragalactic race known as the Ska, one of which appeared in a previous cutscene behind Robert, were the ones behind the attacks and tried to make it look like the two were to blame, so that the Galactic Council would declare war. Apparently, there is a rivalry going back ages ago, although it is never explained what exactly that rivalry is about, and no mention of Hornblower. I guess he was helping the Ska too. This does explain the Arrak in the starting cutscene and why the cruiser was acting shady, but this is me extrapolating the facts from the events, since the game never actually explains any of that openly. It were the Skas who had done all of that nasty stuff to create an interdimensional gate, just like the one in the intro cutscene, but the tool don't have enough data to figure out where it could be located. Fortunately, the data that Charon has been collecting for all this time by now is the one they needed. And finally, a straight answer. The system where the Ska hide is in Raptor's territory, but the specific key coordinates are still missing. While Nara gets help from the tool government, Charon and Eona shall find that key. Despite being completely open now, there are really no good opportunities or motives to explore the galaxy. Also, at this point of the game, the subtitles and the voices are starting to desync.
He and his buddies do a bit of smuggling, but he's absolutely harmless.
Can we trust him?
Corneus has lost his second man as well.
I have the creeping sensation that the project must have run out of money. Everything from story to pacing starts to feel rushed. In any case, discussing with an old pal smuggler of Eona, Corneus, the crew learns that no one currently has the key for that system. However, it should be possible to get it by scanning the destroyed space wrecks of an old battle on the Koros system. Once gain the key and explore the suspected system, the crew finds the Ska mothership. It's bigger than anything seen so far. Landing on the nearby forest planet and rendezvousing with Jack and Nara, the announcement arrives. They are only going to receive one cruiser for support, nothing else. It's just them versus the mothership. The plan is this. 3 generators are producing the energy for the dimensional gate, but they can't be destroyed as long as the mothership is online. As such, Nara must analyze their special shield and find out what it's made of and find a weakness, if one such exists. This fight is incredibly underwhelming. There is nothing to fight but drones. If there were a time to put new and cool ship designs, this was it. But, alas, suddenly, the promised cruiser arrives. And also everyone else Charon has helped during the game. Definitely corny, but I do enjoy when games bring every side character that the protagonist has helped during the journey for the final showdown. Now, the cruiser shall scan. Nara's ship is not powerful enough. Once done, the results are not encouraging. It's a plasma shield, and impossible to penetrate. When everything seems lost, a sudden cutscene shows that Robert is inside the mothership. He's been betrayed by the Ska, since he didn't want to plunge the galaxy into war.
You betrayed me! I helped you, and what did you do? You plunged the entire galaxy into war! Why?
Then why did you push for war? The game is losing coherence by the minute. Let's wrap this up. He decides to transmit the plans of the mothership to the fighters outside. For this, he gets fatally injured by the aliens, but he still manages to send the plans. Once the specifications reach the Darkstar One, everyone must go to the cruiser to plan a new offensive. A weak point has been found. Only the plasma gun on Chiron's ship can temporarily deactivate the shields, and while the others distract the enemies, he must get inside and destroy one of the main generators. This will cause a chain reaction and ultimately destroy the mothership. Wait. Since there isn't something fascinating, I'm just going to skim over the last bits. So, in rapid succession, the shield gets breached, the Darkstar gets in, locates the core, destroys it, and escapes. The mothership circumcises itself, and the tip runs off, while the main structure gets blown up, and we get shown a shot similar to the one from the beginning. The station gets destroyed and the space gate closes. Wait, wasn't destroyed from the beginning? My best guess is that this was the big project the Ska were making, to build one of the destroyed stations, but I'm extrapolating again. Anyway, the Galactic Union thanks everyone for avoiding a war.
Apologies go to the people of the Thule who are unjustly accused, and whom we gladly welcome among us.
And Charon gives a final goodbye to everyone.
Don't thank me. I didn't do anything but let them shoot at me.
I don't know anyone who gets shot at better than you.
In the wrong context, it could mean something else entirely. And, as a last twist, Iona modified the ship's computer so that it will talk like her. In a way, she will always be with Chiron. So sweet. And also a good way to reuse her lines for the post-game. There are still many unanswered questions. Who are the Ska, truly? Where did they come from, exactly? What was the conflict between the Tool and the Ska about? Why did Robert betray Chiron? This last one can be answered when checking the game notes. It was a hunger for power. One thing is still certain. People shall keep simping hard for the ship.
Look there! What kind of ship is that? That looks awesome! I've never seen anything like it. That must be really expensive.
Now that the general idea of the game has been explored, let's ask the big questions, after the news. I suspect the reasons for the lack of remembrance for this game can be found in fundamentally two causes: the release time and the genre itself. Darkstar was released on the 16th of June in 2006 in PAL regions, and got a North American release on the 14th of August of the same year. 2005/6 was a transition period in gaming history. The Xbox 360 was released around 7 months prior, and the PlayStation 3 would follow around 5. It was a period where PC gaming was about to be overshadowed by the console in the 7th generation for a long time. A time I define as the dark age of PC gaming, because very few things were being released during that gen for PC, and the few things usually were riddled with bad ports or, heaven forbids, games for Windows Live. As such, because Darkstar remained a PC exclusive for 4 years, eventually getting an Xbox 360 port in June for PAL and July for North America of 2010, it makes sense on why so few people got their hands on. Had it received a port much earlier in its lifespan, and maybe even one for the PlayStation 3, it's possible they could have managed to reach better recognition. But even if it did, there is also the note that console gamers at the time weren't exactly the greatest fans of space sims ever, and also the brutal competition of the period, so who knows. As for salvaging, well, for the game itself, I don't think there's much to be done. The story was okay, and while there is definitely a sequel hook, with the skyscaping, I don't find it worth to continue. The concept of an open-ended space sim though, that is worth picking up, especially because the space sim genre used to be synonym of PC gaming alongside fast-paced first-person shooters and real-time strategy games. But unlike those two, it never actually got a big revival. The only two projects that I am aware of are Everspace 2, which is in early access and seems to be doing fine, and Squadron 42, the single-player mode for Star Citizen, and who knows if that is ever going to come out, or it has reached a bizarre state of too big to succeed. I am aware that No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous and X4 exist, but I believe each one is inadequate in one way or another. The first is more a crafting/exploration game with space sim mechanics. The second leans heavily on the MMO side of things, while I have a pure single player mentality. And as for X4, it seems to be unpolished. Also, while the original software house that made the game has been closed, many of the people who work on Darkstar One are still in the industry, their most recent project being Port Royal 4, which does follow on a lot of concepts that were implemented in Darkstar 1, like the freedom of action and the kind open world, but in a Caribbean setting of course. A concept that I think could give a nice twist to this sort of games is the addition of multiple endings based on the player's actions. Similarly, like 4X games tend to have multiple winning conditions. I do believe that two typologies of endings can be added, the money ending and the conqueror ending, while still including the narrative ending. To elaborate, the edge of this kind of games, Port Royal and Darkstar 1, is the ability for the players to make their own choices on how to tackle the world. After all, it's even the marketing material. However, they often clash with the usual pattern on how a game is most of the time structured, i.e. follow a step of linear objectives until victory, which usually gets implemented as a series of quests/challenges that the player may or may not be engaged in doing. After all, It's difficult to enjoy a game that asks you to fight and pillage while all you want to do is be a humble merchant. As such, having different endings with different ways to achieve and reward such behaviors may give a nice twist to this genre. The money ending is the most straightforward to implement, since it will mean to add one incredibly or super expensive purchase for the player. As such, no matter what they'll do, every action shall help in reaching that goal, even if really slowly. The Conqueror ending will be reached if the player manages to conquer every single city on the map and then conquering a boss city, and once it has been bested, the Conqueror ending will be achieved. Since in Port Royal 4 it is possible to conquer cities, this idea may be already in the developer's mind. Both of these while still having the classical linear sequence of challenges that the player must follow to beat a game, or as I like to define it, the narrative ending. Or, at the very least, for the love of heck, add a bloody search for the systems!